How do you know your exhaust manifold is bad?
So the first sign that you got a bad exhaust manifold gasket or a bad exhaust manifold is going to be noise. So when your exhaust manifold is cracked or broken, or let's just say the exhaust manifold gasket is split or cracked, you're gonna notice a clicking noise, tapping noise, ticking noise, and maybe even also puffing noise. And usually these noise is gonna be most noticeable, especially during startup. So again, these noises are most notable, especially during startup, is because when you have a bad exhaust manifold gasket, or let's just say a crack somewhere in the exhaust manifold, and let's just say during startup, these cracks and the gap between the exhaust manifold and the cylinder head has more clearance. And let's just say when the engine starts to get hot, the metal components start to expand, and it's gonna cause the clearance to decrease. So when that happens, you're gonna notice these type of noises, such as the ticking noise and tapping noise, may start to decrease. Especially when you start driving, you're gonna notice that the noise is gonna be loud at first, and just say a couple minutes later, you're gonna notice that the noise start to decrease. So the next common symptom is going to be smell. So let's just say that you have a crack somewhere exhaust manifold. Let's just say the exhaust manifold gasket over here or over here is cracked and worn. You're gonna notice exhaust fume when you're driving, especially you're gonna smell it inside the cabin. So that's how you know you're gonna have a bad exhaust manifold or exhaust manifold gasket. So the next common sign is going to be smoke. So if you got a crack somewhere on your exhaust manifold or you got a bad exhaust manifold gasket, you can actually see smoke coming out of this area. So first thing you want to do is you want to remove the heat shield that is mounted on the exhaust manifold, and you want to start your engine. So basically during the startup, let's say the first 5 minutes, especially when the engine is still cold, you're gonna notice smoke coming out of this area. So if you see smoke coming out of this area, just suspect that you got a bad exhaust manifold, or got a crack somewhere, or you got a bad exhaust manifold gasket. Of course, you always want to make sure that actually coming out of either this area, or crack somewhere. So the next common sign is going to be decrease in engine performance. So if you have a leak somewhere in your exhaust system, it's going to cause a decrease in back pressure. You need adequate back pressure for the engine to run efficient. So let's just say if you have a crack somewhere and it's losing back pressure, what you're going to notice is going to be a sluggish acceleration when you step in the gas pedal, and you're going to notice low power. The reason why you have low power is because you have oxygen sensor mounted on the exhaust system. So basically when you have a crack in the exhaust system, especially over here and here, it's gonna cause the oxygen sensor to have a false reading. So basically it's gonna introduce more oxygen into the exhaust system, and the oxygen sensor is gonna send the incorrect reading or data to the computer. So what's going to happen is that this is going to interrupt the air and fuel mixture. This is why you're going to have low power or sluggish acceleration. So the next common sign is going to be poor gas mileage. So you got a crack somewhere in your exhaust manifold, or you got a bad exhaust manifold gasket. This is going to cause more air to flow inside the exhaust system. So basically, again, this is going to disrupt air and fuel mixture, and this can cause the computer to tell the fuel injector to spread more fuel than it should, therefore causing poor gas mileage. The next common sign is going to be check engine light, and you're going to get some sort of engine codes for either a bad oxygen sensor or a catalytic converter that's not running efficient. If you are getting this type of code, again, you want to visually inspect the exhaust manifold and the gasket to make sure you don't smell anything coming out of it. You don't see any smoke visibly coming out of it. And you also want to make sure that there's no noise such as ticking noise, tapping noise, and so on. So here's a tip. If you plan to replace your exhaust manifold, you want to make sure you don't break these studs and you don't break the nuts that's going through the exhaust manifold. So first thing first, what you want to do, you want to use some sort of bolt penetrator such as PV Blaster or W40, and you want to soak it. Preferably, you want to soak it for at least a good 30 minutes or so. That way, when you're removing the nuts on it, or you're moving the stud on it, it will not break on you. If that doesn't work, what you can use is you can use a torch and torch it up and heat these up. So basically, that's gonna cause the nut to loosen up, and it's gonna make your life a whole lot easier just to remove it. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Top 5 Auto Repairs.